Have you ever noticed that the strangest thoughts almost always appear at night? During the day, the mind seems too busy. But once you lie down, turn off the lights, and the silence sets in, something changes. Suddenly, your mind starts working in a different way. Old memories resurface, random ideas appear, unlikely scenarios take shape, concerns that didn't seem to exist suddenly take up space, and a natural question arises. Why does this happen? The answer isn't mysterious and it's not supernatural. It's rooted in how the human body works, more specifically, in how the brain responds when the environment changes. During the day, the brain is constantly bombarded by external stimuli. Light, sound, movement, conversations, tasks, decisions. All of this keeps specific areas of the brain continuously engaged. It's as if the mind is always responding to the outside world, solving problems and reacting to what's happening around us. At night, when the body slows down, this entire scenario changes. The light fades, noise disappears, external demands drop away, and the brain shifts into a different mode of operation. One of the main changes is the reduction of external stimuli. With less information coming in from the outside, the brain starts paying more attention to what's happening internally. Memories, emotions, associations. What stayed in the background during the day now moves to the foreground at night. There's also a change in the activity of brain regions responsible for rational control. During the day, these regions help filter thoughts, organize ideas, and keep the mind focused on practical matters. At night, that filter becomes less rigid. As a result, the brain becomes more associative. Ideas that wouldn't normally connect begin to blend together. One memory triggers another. One thought leads to the next, without a clear logical sequence. And that's how strange thoughts emerge. Another important factor is the role of memory. During rest, the brain takes advantage of the downtime to organize accumulated information. It revisits experiences, reinforces learning, and restructures memories. This process isn't conscious. That's why old thoughts or seemingly insignificant situations can appear out of nowhere. The emotional system also plays a role. At night, with fewer distractions, emotions become more noticeable. Concerns ignored during the day find a voice. Mild anxiety, unanswered questions, unresolved issues. All of this finds space when the body slows down. This doesn't mean that something is wrong. In fact, this behavior is expected in normal human functioning. The brain wasn't designed to shut down completely. It simply changes mode. Another interesting point is that the nighttime brain tends to exaggerate scenarios. At night, thoughts often feel more intense than they really are. A small concern can feel overwhelming. A simple idea can feel unusually deep. This happens because the brain is less anchored to immediate reality. Without constant external input, the mind creates its own scenarios. And the quieter the environment, the greater the mental freedom. There are also chemical changes happening in the body. Substances related to relaxation and sleep increase, while substances associated with alertness decrease. This combination favors a mental state that's more flexible, less critical, and more imaginative. That's why ideas feel different at night. Not necessarily more accurate, but more intense. The brain is operating in a less practical and more exploratory mode. This also explains why many people experience creative ideas at night. The mind is less constrained by rigid rules. Unexpected connections become possible. On the other hand, this same mechanism can intensify worries. Without the balance of daytime activity, the brain may focus too much on negative thoughts. That's why nighttime thoughts shouldn't be taken as absolute truths. They are reflections of a specific state of brain functioning. Understanding this helps you deal better with what runs through your mind at night. Instead of fighting these thoughts, it's more effective to recognize that they're part of a natural process. The human body works in cycles. There are moments of action and moments of processing. Nighttime is a moment of internal processing. When you understand that strange nighttime thoughts are the result of how the brain functions, they lose much of their power. They stop feeling threatening and become simply passing information. That doesn't mean you should pay attention to all of them. It simply means you don't need to be alarmed by the way they appear. The nighttime brain isn't trying to confuse you. It's just doing what it has always done, processing, organizing, and exploring. Strange thoughts at night are not a sign of a problem. They're a sign that the brain has changed its rhythm. Maybe the real question isn't why these thoughts appear, but rather, why we expect them not to. When the world grows quiet, the body keeps working, and the mind simply keeps functioning. If this explanation was helpful, subscribing to Human Function allows you to continue learning how the human body functions behind the scenes.